One of the biggest films I've ever done on Blue Peter took 2.5 years to complete. If you think you've seen upcycling, think again. Have a look at this. This is King's Cross in London, and right now this part of the capital is getting a bit of a facelift.
That's because this is the biggest building site in Europe. So big, it covers a massive 67 acres.
That's about the same as 43 football pitches side by side. So work is underway to create 50 new buildings, 2,000 new homes, 20 new streets and 10 public squares. And that's going to be home to 45,000 people. So if you think about it, that's like a city within a city.
It's a giant project that will take 10 years to complete and totally change this part of London. But while they've been transforming this area, there have been a few things that have stood in their way. Gas holders. Huge structures built to store gas so it was instantly available to heat people's homes. At one time, they were dotted around towns and cities across the UK. Now, though, technology has moved on and many are no longer needed. But they're part of the landscape and have become Grade 2 listed buildings.
And that means they can't be demolished. So when the architects were making plans for this King's Cross site, they had to include these 150-year-old gas holder structures, and they had to be refurbished, and they had to be included in this project. It's a great idea.
It's basically a giant bit of upcycling, and we love upcycling on BP. So we're going to be following this project as it happens over the next few years. Yes, that's right, I said years. We begin by talking to lead engineer Morwenna.
I don't think many building sites have been classified as glamorous locations, but I love it here. So why was the decision made to not just sort of scrap them, get rid of them and just build on this site without them here?
King's Cross is going under a massive redevelopment at the moment, and one of the iconic things about King's Cross is actually these gas holder structures. They mean something to all the people who've ever come to King's Cross on the train, and they mean things to the people who live here. We're really excited about taking these and trying to do something new and exciting with them, but retaining the heritage and the character of the site.
Being more than 100 years old, though, it's safe to say the gas holders need a bit of love.
Well, that happens up here, 200 miles away, in Barnsley.
The massive steel pillars are taken down and moved to Yorkshire. Numerous coats of paint have been battered by decades of British weather. This all needs to be taken off to strip back to the metal beneath. And if there's one thing I love, it's using a hammer, so I'm not missing this. Expert Richard shows me how.
We'll use the pointed hammer, and then you just chip away.
If you look at this here, you can see all the different individual layers of the paint. That's unbelievable, really,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes.
But it's all coming off to get a brand new coat of long-lasting paint once I've chipped it. How many more of these?
I'll say about 49 to 50.
49 to 50 more of these. There's all the pillars, there's all the
right.
lattice work. It really is a serious project, isn't it?
Very serious.
Once all the old paint is stripped off and the metal work is cleaned up, it's time to apply a fresh coat. This will leave the gas holders looking as good as new and protect them from the elements for years to come.
I think you'll agree, the work the engineers are doing is absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait to see how it all looks when it's put back together again in its new home in King's Cross.
But that takes time. Lots of time. It's more than a year later before all the columns are restored and ready to put back in place in London. And when they are, I'm here to help. Just the size of these things is incredible. Each pillar weighs up to 10 tons.
And it takes one day for one column. That's how heavy they are and how big a job this is. It's awesome. So once the column's been lifted into place, it then needs to be secured. And that's where I come in. I just don't know what I'm doing yet, but I imagine with all this money and time and manpower invested, it's going to be something pretty high tech. I reckon it's going to be something like a crane, or maybe, you know, like a laser, or a really big spanner. Really?
That's right, even on the most state-of-the-art building project, sometimes you just need a bit of elbow grease.
So there you have it, one more column stands proudly in place. Just another 107 to go.
Two and a half years after I first visited the site, I'm back to see the finished result, and I cannot wait.
I mean, just look at that. It's beautiful.
Project Director Tom can tell me how this giant restoration has come together.
The last time I stood down there, it was just a bit of mud and some stones, and now look at it, what a project. Tom, so you're the project director. You must be very happy with how things have gone.
Yeah, we're very pleased. It's been a long 5 years of effort from a huge team, and we're almost at the end of what is a completely unique building for not only London, but for the rest of the world.
I think it's been just over 2 years for me actually being involved with it. It's been quite an epic undertaking, hasn't it?
It's been a labour of love for a lot of people involved, and our vision for King's Cross was always to create a new destination, a new place for London that people felt was part of the city, but was a completely unique experience. And we really feel the Gasholders is right at the heart of that, and everyone's very proud of the result.
It's been an absolute pleasure to be a part of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your help, and anytime you want to pick up a paintbrush, you're welcome to come back.
Yeah, maybe not. What I love about this project is that it's transformed a part of London that was almost forgotten and will now provide modern homes and affordable housing.
This has got to be one of the biggest upcycling projects I've ever been a part of on Blue Peter. In fact, I think in Blue Peter's history, it just goes to show that if there's something old, don't throw it away, you can turn it into something new. Look at what they've done with this place. It's beautiful. Do you know what? Only on Blue Peter could you do a film like that. Such a long time to film it, but it was so worth it. So much fun.
Amazing. That is sad.